Let me talk about the golf course for a minute and give you an update. I did have a very productive meeting with Seth Wall, who is head of the PGA. I think it followed up on your community meeting with Mr. Wall. And what we agreed, the PGA is very, very interested in moving forward with the improvement of our golf course, construction of a community center, and all of this without any real estate development, et cetera. So it is appearing that it is a very unique opportunity. Indeed, it may be the unicorn that we thought was out there that could be available. So where we left it is Mr. Wah and I, on behalf of the city, entered into a handshake agreement, which we will document with a letter of intent, hopefully this week, getting out. I'm looking at my city attorney. But we will give them an exclusive period of time in which to raise the money that they need. And I think that time is in the 15-month time frame. And I'm willing to do this, and I think it's good for the city, because to have a partner of the caliber of the PGA interested in investing in our golf course, and part of the discussion was they would actually locate an administrative building in the facility with the PGA sign on it. It won't be the national PGA, but I think they have regional offices of the PGA that they want to locate there. They've walked the course, they've done their due diligence, they've walked it with who they're perceiving as their primary benefactor. They didn't tell us who the name was. That person has walked it with a couple of architects, of golf course architects. So there is an extreme amount of interest, and they are very excited about it. But they need a document that they can walk around to their potential investors, and so we're working on a letter of intent, which is an agreement to agree. We're not negotiating yet the final terms of the lease. They'll be leasing the space, long-term lease, probably 50 to 99 years for a designated amount. So that is the status. I'm very excited about it. I think this could really be what we've been waiting on and working on for so many years. And again, I'm confident in the caliber of the partner that we're bringing to the table, i.e. the PGA. So that's where we are. And again, it's exclusive for a 15-month period of time to get everything lined up, and I'm confident that it can be done. I'm happy to answer any questions. Yes, Madam President.
Thank you, Mayor. That's definitely very exciting. I appreciate hearing some progress on the golf course, and had a great community outreach meeting just a few weeks ago. Over 200 residents and stakeholders were there. Definitely, there seemed to be great support for PGA. While he did not present a project specifically, he talked about the general concept. I am appreciative that we're allowing them the time that they feel that they need to raise the funds. My request would be, are there some benchmarks that they might be able to meet within those 15 months that maybe in your negotiations or discussions with them that could show us that they're working towards that, so that at the end of 15 months, they don't come to us and say, sorry, we can't do it. I hope that wouldn't happen. And then the second thing that I just was curious if we could see the results of the community outreach that was done on this, and if that was shared with PGA as well.
You mean the poll that we took?
Correct.
Yeah, we'll get that information. Is that finalized, Mr. Fauna?
Armando Fauna, Assistant City Administrator. Yes, that poll has been finalized. We had over 500 respondents, and when we'll show you the results, you'll see that a majority would have headed in this direction anyway. So.
Okay. And so maybe we could do that at a workshop, but if you want to make rounds, particularly with the district commissioner, and share that, but a broader discussion we can have at the...
yeah, and we'll send it out this week.
Yeah, and no, we didn't share that with the PGA. I know they have their own ideas, and so obviously we will share it with them now that it's been finalized.
Thank you.
But the benchmarks question, yes, I did come up, and we will try to fold those into the letter of intent. During this 15-month period, we will take advantage of the time to also negotiate the terms of the lease. So it's not as if we're just going to sit around and then they come up with the money and then we start those negotiations. So we will take advantage of the time to start working through some of the details on the lease. Follow up, and then Commissioner Peduzzi.
Thank you. Just my follow-up is, I appreciate that we're working on the lease agreement at the same time. I don't know where we are with the titles of some of the parcels of the land, but obviously hopeful that we're working on that as well, if that's not already solidified.
Yes, we are working on it. That's why I drew that connection between Banyan and the titles. But yes, we are in conversations. We thought we were very close to a deal with the county, but we will get that worked out. I'm confident we'll get that worked out, even in that 15-month period,
Thank you, Mayor.
with no small amount of pain. But anyway, Commissioner Peduzzi.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to say for the record, I'm a huge proponent of partnering with the PGA. I think this could bring, it has tremendous potential for the residents of our city. And I'd like to thank you for taking decisive action on the matter. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Shove.
Thank you, and thank you for the update. I'm certainly in favor of moving forward with the renovations and redevelopment of the golf course, and have heard a lot of really good feedback. I guess the bind that I'm put in here is that I have not met with PGA. I have not heard from them what their plan is, what the details are. And so it kind of puts me in a bad spot when I have neighbors coming in and lobbying me to go with this plan when I don't know what the plan is. So I think if we could, it's easily remedied. I hold no ego in it. If we could, perhaps have a little bit more information, because I'm certainly excited and want things to move forward, but it's difficult to know what the plan is at this moment to move forward with.
Well, keep in mind that there is no final plan yet. What we're doing is agreeing to agree on a period of time, and so what they want, and they will have some generic description that will be a part of the letter of intent, but it won't have all of the I's dotted and T's crossed. But the agreement at this point is simply to give them an exclusive period of time in which to negotiate funding and then bring back to us a more detailed plan. So as soon as they develop a more detailed plan, that will be brought to you. And obviously, the lease itself is going to require the approval of the Golf Commission, which we all sit on.
Certainly, and again, I'm in favor of trying to make sure we're getting plans together, but as part of this governing body that's going to make a decision down the road, it would be nice to meet and know the plan before we know even what plans we're trying to get into. For instance, I have hearsay about what would or would not be involved in that agreement. So it's just, I think, point of clarification, perhaps someone from PGA could reach out to commission staff, make appointments with us, as many developers do. Again, I'm speaking as one person on this dais. I know certainly great visiting the district commissioner. I'm really very supportive of getting out and getting neighborhood input. We can never have too much neighborhood and community input, but I think one of the pieces that's lost in there, at least for 1/5 of this commission, is a meeting with the commissioners.
Well, I will certainly mention to them that at the appropriate time, they do come sit down and meet with you, and if they think that's now or later, I'll leave that to them as to when they want to, how much they want to disclose, and how much they have already evolved. But I don't think that there is any desire to move too far ahead without having those one-on-one meetings. But we'll certainly mention that to them.
Thank you.
Commissioner Neary.
Thank you, Mayor. And I'll just mention that I did sit down with PGA Commissioner. They did reach out to me, I guess maybe a month and a half ago. And so I don't know if that means anything, but they were willing to talk about what their future plans included, which I think the broader piece of it for me was the unique way in which they were coming at this as compared to many other folks. So obviously not details in terms of what the 18th will look like, 18th hole rather, but more so that they felt like they could raise the funds to be able to do it, and talked about some other things. So I just mentioned that just parenthetically, whatever that means. And it's just two quick comments. One, I agree, and I like the idea of the benchmarks. And Mayor, to your point, continuing to kind of work out as much as we can between now and the 15 months. I mean, I do see this as a legacy project for this commission, this administration, something that we have. I mean, when I came on the commission 5 years ago and the clubhouse had been torn down, still feels somewhat like we're kind of in that rut, but I actually feel like there is light at the end of the tunnel. But I will say whatever we can do to expedite it, but obviously expedite it in a way that is a generational decision, meaning one that not just 5 years from now, but 10, 15, 25 years from now will still be a vibrant part to our community. So thanks.
And part of the thinking, just so I could state it, for kind of the length of the time is apparently many of the donors they are approaching are seasonal residents. So they've got to try to factor in their requests when people are around during the season. So since we're about halfway through, or probably just a couple of months away from the end of this season, then they're probably going to be making a real heavy push, I would imagine, in November of next year. But so they just needed to have some time. But they're very optimistic about getting this done. As I said, they've got one significant benefactor in mind who has already walked the course with his or her preferred architect, golf course architects, and so I'm very confident that we'll get there. Any other? Yeah, Commissioner Shove.
Thank you, Mayor. And if I just may clarify, I think having a name like PGA associated with the city of West Palm Beach is definitely a step forward. I'm supportive of moving it forward. I just want to set the baseline for what our communications will be going forward. This is a significant partnership, and it's something I think that would be amazing for our South End. Don't want to slow it down at all, but would like to set the baseline for an open communication dialogue.
Understood.